Rose. How are you all? It's Just Rose Thursday. How are we? Hope you're all doing okay out there. It is a live, so as I say on all my lives, I'm not talking to myself. I'm not going crazy. A little bit, but I'm not going crazy, hopefully. If you'd like to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/JessRose5472. Otherwise, join us in the live. Hey sis, how are you? It'd be lovely to see you all in the live. Hey Ashley, how are you? Hey Sharon, look, all buses again. You're great, aren't you? I always think when I've got it holding, I'm like, no one's there. No one's going to turn up. And then you all come through. I'm like, yay, here they are. Let's see if we can get through tonight without any hiccups. We'd managed to do it Tuesday. Hey, Kelly, how are you doing? How are you? Hey, Warwick, how's it going? How is everyone on this Thursday? My kids are off because of the polling, so it's been a long day. It's been such a long day, and it's still not over because they haven't got to get up in the morning, so they're going to be awake for a little while. So it's going to be a long evening as well. And then they got the polling today, and then is Phil here? I haven't seen Phil. Did you see? Is Phil here, Tiff? I haven't seen Phil. The polling, and then tomorrow it's teacher training. Then we got the bank holiday. I will be listening again. It's due. No, it's the comfort. Oh, okay, that's fine, Sharon. That's okay. If you don't mind listening to me ramble on, that's fine. Is Phil here then? I haven't seen. Oh, Phil, sorry. Hello, how are you? How's it going? I was just wondering where you was. Oh, I hope you're all okay. Have you heard of this one? Oh. I've actually put this one off for a while in doing because it was just awful. Stupid. I had a guess, Sharon. I did have a guess, and then I was like, did she mean stupid? Oh, sorry, Phil. Yes, I did miss you. I did miss where you'd written how, and then I thought Tiffany was talking to herself. Crazy. What was I going to say? Yes, this one I was hanging on because I'd heard of this a while ago, but I was waiting to see what happened with it. So then I lost track of it, and I've realised that it has been resolved for the most part now. So that's why I thought I'd do it, but I don't know if he's aware of it. But I'm going to give you all that trigger warning that I always like to put out on these type of cases. Oh, thanks, Sharon. It's a lot of dry shampoo. I'm going to be honest. It's a lot of dry shampoo. That's all it is. Yes, trigger warning, because it is a child. It is horrific, aren't they? Oh, thanks, Ashley. That's what I was just saying. It's just a lot of dry shampoo. I was like, do I wash it? Do I not? If I wash it, it ends up out here. So I thought, you know what? We'll just go for the slicked grease look. That's the way we're going tonight. But it'll hold for this evening. Right, what? Yes, like I say, it's a child. It's it's a very it's a graphic case. Very, very sad. So yeah, it's not good. But before I start, is anyone up to anything nice this weekend? Anyone up to anything good? I'm not really. What am I doing? No, just my quiz on Sunday. But I'm very excited about it because I haven't got to get up on Monday morning, so I'm very happy about that. So excited for my quiz. I don't know why I am. We lose every week. We're horrific at it, but we do get excited for our quiz. We're so sad. I'm really starting. I have our sister. I don't understand. I'm missing the conversation already. I'm zoning out of it already. But yes, so I may start. The better weather's nice, Ashley. I'm happy with it. I just really want Chewelson. Oh, Courtney's up with you, of course. She's up now. I thought she wasn't coming up till tomorrow. Right, got ya. She is up tomorrow. I forgot what I'd asked. I ask a question and then just start talking. I forget. I just talk about myself and then forget about everyone else. It's yeah, that's a good characteristic, isn't it? Yeah, yes, so Court's up, isn't she? Oh, so that'll be nice. She'll have a nice weekend. I know, as if lost my mind then. I don't know what I was thinking. I knew as well. I did know. But what else was I going to say? I was going to say something else. Yes, I've got Phil's request on Tuesday. But I haven't had any more from you all. So if you have got any requests that you'd like me to do, it's no bother if you haven't. I can find us some equally horrific stories to destroy your Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's no problem. I have no problem doing that to you all. Mine's just, please remind me. What's yours? Okay, put it in the Patreon. Sis, if you've got one, put it in the Patreon. And I will do this. Aaron Hernandez. Do you know, my brother actually asked me to do his, a couple of years ago, and I never did it. I never actually did it, but I don't think I'd seen you request it. So yes, absolutely. Aaron, so we've got Phil, Tiffany. She just about, but oh no, I'm afraid. Who wins out of Kelly and Tiffany there? I think Kelly wins because Tiffany, you came late with the name. So, yeah. So I think it's going to have to be Phil, Kelly, Tiffany, I'm afraid to say. If you wouldn't mind, I know I'm being a pain. I know you're putting it on here. Did you? Oh, Kelly, I'm sorry. And there's me going, can you message me on Patreon? Oh, I'm so sorry. Maybe I have. Maybe. Ruby Frank. I don't know. I haven't heard that one. But why did I not notice that? Oh, Kelly, I'm sorry. Right. Well, okay. So it'll be Phil's, Kelly's, Tiffany's. So we've got Phil's, then the Aaron Hernandez, then Ruby Frank, which I don't know that one. So I'm going to look into that one. And then Natalie, yeah. Had you given me, oh God, am I going to start cringing now? Had you given me one already that I haven't done? Oh, I'm awful, aren't I? I'm absolutely awful. I'm just catching up, but yeah, I'm terrible. I thought I'd all caught up. I was quite cocky with myself. I was like, I'm all caught up and you haven't given me any more. Oh, Carly Ryan. Okay, don't know that one. Oh, you're all pulling them out here. The only one I know is the Aaron Hernandez one. You are right, Kelly. It's you've kept. Sounds good, sis. We've got stories now for the next few. We have. You've kept me busy for the next couple of weeks, I think. This should do me up until I go away. So excellent. That should do me up until I go away now. And you are right, Kelly, the Aaron Hernandez. Oh my God. It's just, you are right. Very layered story. Yeah, very in-depth. It's going to be a long one, that one, I think. Okay, right. Well, let's do tonight's one. And then I can start working on Phil's one because Phil's will be next, I believe. Can't think of it off the top of my head, but I know that's my next one. Okay, so if you're watching tomorrow, I'm going to start now. I used to start after 5 minutes. We're going to 10 now. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to do half an hour intros before I actually start the story. I just love chatting to you all. I have plenty now, Phil. I've got plenty to keep me going. I'm happy. I've got plenty. Okay. Okay. Oh, Unreal Cruelty. Oh, that's. Look at that. I see cruelty and I'm like, ooh, that's I don't know what reaction I've just given away there, but I just get very involved. Okay, right. the devastating Isaiah Torres story. Don't know if you know this one. Absolutely awful, awful case. And I'm going to begin it now. So I am about to ruin your evening. So just giving you a little heads up on that. Okay. So we have a lady by the name of Kathy Lynn Torres. Okay. A man by the name of Maurice Alejandro Torres. And they are the parents. She's 43, he's 53 as of the story. They both work as carers separately, but that's what they do. Maurice works with adolescent and young children, advising them. Kathy is a carer in some degree. You're going to see why I'm being very flippant about them soon. They go on to have 3 children. They have twins, a little boy and a girl. Now, very quickly, they have 3 children, twins, a boy and a girl, and another little girl. I do know the little girls' names, but I've only seen their names on one source. And because I know they've, I can let you know what's happened with them as the story goes on. But I just don't think, because I've noticed that their names haven't been stated elsewhere, I might not say their names. I do know them, but I think we don't need to know them for the story, so I'm not going to say them. But we have little Maurice Isaiah Torres. Okay, he's called Isaiah because obviously he's named after his dad, so they call him by his middle name Isaiah. And then he's got a twin sister and a younger sister. At the point in the story, the twins are 6, obviously Isaiah 6, and their younger sister is 5. Okay, now Isaiah himself, very cute. Again, I know I say it every time, but he's just, if you don't know the case, or you haven't heard of it, just if you have a look at his little picture, just such a cute little boy. Very quiet, very sweet, loved to sing. But the teachers at their school, and the school was the Ambassador for Christ Academy, the teachers at the school said he would get quite angry at times, right? And they started to notice bruises on him around about 2013, 2014. Right, he only done 1 year of school, and the reason he only done 1 year of school is because the school, who are obviously mandated reporters, reported the bruises. Not only the bruises, but he would come in very, very hungry, and he would steal lunches sometimes from the other kids. So they were mandated to report this. They did. They got in touch with DHS. Now, this is actually in Arkansas, in America. And they like I say, contacted DHS. DHS basically went round to the family home and said that the worries were unfounded. Okay. But given the fact that the parents, Kathy and Maurice, had been reported, they took the kids out of school and decided to homeschool. Never a good sign, is it? Never a good sign when that happens. So, okay. It's a little bit of the backstory on them. I have got more of a backstory, but I will tell you it a little bit later on. All right. But for now, we're going to come up to Sunday, March 29th, 2015. Okay. We're at 11:35 p.m. and Kathy calls 911. Okay. And basically on the call, she's calling for her 6-year-old little boy, Isaiah. And basically she's telling 911 that he told us his stomach was hurting. We'd been camping at the weekend. But he said his stomach was hurting and now he's not breathing. And when the 911 operator says, right, okay, I need you to start beginning CPR with him, she was like, oh, he's got brown gooky stuff coming out of his mouth. Now, when I heard that, because you can hear the call, it's not that she said they weren't going to do it. It's not that it even insinuated that this wasn't happening. It was just brown gooky stuff. I just couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine saying that. I couldn't imagine saying that to an operator about my child. So I just thought that was a little bit questionable from the very beginning. Now, it took the EMTs about 7 minutes. So the emergency services took them about 7 minutes to get to the house. Now, where the family actually lived was Cresswell Circle, Bella Vista in Arkansas. Obviously, like I say, a US story. It took them about 7 minutes to get there. And when they walked in, Isaiah was actually on the living room floor. He was unresponsive, and Maurice was doing CPR on him. Okay. What they started to notice as they took over from Maurice was that this child had a lot of bruises on his body, on his trunk, on his head, and a lot of lacerations as well. So they're looking, but they're trying to, get him to come back round. He was still unresponsive. So they brought him straight away to Mercy Hospital, which is also in Bella Vista. And there was a doctor called Dr. Franklin Mayhew that started working on little Isaiah. Okay. But because of the bruises that had been spotted on him and the injuries, the police were called to the hospital, and a detective called Jeff Blake came to the hospital. Now, they worked on little Isaiah for quite a while, trying to bring him back round. But at no point whatsoever did he regain consciousness. And on Monday, the 30th of March 2015 at 12:23 a.m., Isaiah was pronounced dead. He was 6 years old. Okay. Now, it was said that it looked like he'd had blunt force trauma to his head and body. There was lacerations to his body, a lot of bruising. And what they noticed at the beginning, this is before the autopsy's done, but what they could notice from the outside of his body, they noticed like a diamond-shaped abrasion to his stomach, like an injury to his stomach. So they were a bit confused about that. Now, like I say, Kathy herself, she's like, well, we've been camping, and he just collapsed. I don't know what happened. at all, but he's just collapsed. And Maurice actually responded when they were questioning. They were like, look, this child had a lot of injuries. And Maurice is like, he did have some chemical burns on his back last year, but we did take him to the hospital because there was injuries on his back as well that looked like burns on his back. So that was his excuse. Now, the parents at this point, as you can see, there's a lot of questions. So what's going on? The parents are taken down to the police station and separated. Okay. Now, there was a few interrogations while they're separate, and the initial interrogation was in Kathy's interview. Basically, again, she's like, look, we came back from camping. He'd said he had a bad stomach. He'd fell asleep in the car. But when we got back, he got out the car. He helped us in with the stuff. He gave himself a shower. I gave him some green tea, and he went to sleep. She says she waited for him to go to sleep, and then when she heard him snoring, she left the bedroom, went about what she needed to go, unpacking and stuff. When she came back into the bedroom, she noticed that he'd stopped breathing, and that's when she called 911. Now, when they asked her, well, look at, he's got a lot of bruises on him. This child's injured. She denies even seeing the bruises. She doesn't even try and say, oh, it was because of A, B, and C. It fell over, or this, that, or the other. She didn't even try and excuse it. She just basically point blank said, I haven't seen any bruises. And when they said, well, what about when he was in the shower? What about when he was getting changed? She's like, no. He took himself into the shower. He showers himself now. Child's 6. But no, I didn't see any marks on him whatsoever. She goes, actually, let me think about it. He did have some dark circles that had appeared around his eyes. But you know what? He runs into doorknobs all the time. That's mommy. That was mommy. That was what mommy had to say about it. So then we get to Tuesday, March the 31st, 2015. Interview number 2 for Kathy. Okay, I will tell you Maurice's interviews, but these are Kathy's interviews at the moment. By this point, she's kind of changing her tune a little bit, and she's like, well, I don't know if Mauricio did anything. So she's trying to separate herself at this point. She goes, to be honest, she goes, well, I have seen him beat Isaiah. I have seen that. And they're like, with his hands? And she's like, yeah. And a belt. An extension cord. Oh, and his fists. And his feet. So yeah, I have seen that, but and sometimes it would bleed, but I didn't have anything to do with it. And then she goes, if Isaiah would cry, it hit him more because Mauricio wanted him to be manly. So if he cried, he's seen that as a sign of weakness from his 6-year-old son. 6-year-old son. She goes, and then, yeah, to be honest, sometimes I'd hit him too. And, sometimes I'd use the belt as well. But, he was okay. Okay. We then come up to Wednesday, April 1st, 2015. Interview number 3 for Kathy. Okay. She starts saying, I was really scared of him on about Mauricio. And I didn't do anything to stop him, And she goes, to be honest, now this is when I really saw what a that's all I have to say about this. That's no words. She then, now, bearing in mind, by the second interview, she's already putting it firmly at Mauricio's door, although she did little things as far as she's concerned. She sees Bout and her son as quite small. She puts the majority of it at Mauricio's door. But then she starts to say, well, the girls, the girls, i.e. his 6-year-old twin sister and his 5-year-old little sister, yeah, the girls, what about them? Well, the girls, when Mauricio would come in from work, they'd tattle on him. They'd tattle on Isaiah. And, Mauricio would then just, he'd lose his temper. And, sometimes he would, he'd just get the extension cord out and he'd start whipping him. How many times would he whip him? Well, what he used to do would, when the girls would tattle on him, he'd bring us all. So Mauricio would bring Kathy, the 2 girls, and little Isaiah into the master bedroom, and they'd have a family meeting where the girls would say, apparently, what Isaiah had apparently done. And, they'd all talk about it, and then Kathy and the girls would be sent out of the bedroom so Mauricio could deal with Isaiah on his own. And they were like, right, okay, so what would that mean? He goes, well, the one time I did notice that he would whip Isaiah on the back, and, it could go on for like 7, 8, 9, 10 whips at a time on this 6-year-old's back with an extension cord. And this apparently happened quite often. This was quite often. Now, I'm going to let you know the autopsy of little Isaiah now. Okay. Something I hadn't mentioned. But when he'd been brought in to the hospital and they'd seen all the bruises and everything, what had happened was a nurse had come out and she'd said there's fresh blood coming from his anus. And so obviously the autopsy has to be done on him to see what's happened. And the pathologist basically said that it looked like there was a hard foreign object that had been inserted into Isaiah's rectum. It had been basically, for want of a better word, shoved in so hard that it tore the lining in his rectum and stomach. It just destroyed this little boy. Obviously it was classed as sexual assault, and basically his stomach contents began spilling into the wound, creating a really bad infection, which then went on to become sepsis. And that's what he died of. He actually died from the infection, from whatever had been put inside him. Okay. So on Friday, April 3rd, 2015, so the police get a warrant to search the camper, okay, that, remember, they'd gone on holiday. And when they searched the camper, they'd found a mattress that had been turned over. And when they turned it back, there was a big, big stain of blood on this mattress, plus blood spatter all around the caravan. So Monday, April 6, 2015, the results from the autopsy was the manner of death was homicide. And the cause of it, like I'd mentioned, was a hard object in rectum and blunt force trauma. It was classed as chronic child abuse syndrome. That was the manner of death. Okay, so then we come up to April the 7th, 2015. This is a Tuesday, and this is Mauricio's interview. Okay. Now, Mauricio, up until that point, obviously we'd seen that Kathy had at first defended him, then she'd dropped him in it, then by the third one she's dropping her daughters in it. Now, on his first interview, on Mauricio's first interview, what he'd basically said, he'd said, bear with me, I'm so sorry here. I want to get the wording right now. I can tell you what he said, but I want to get it right. I want to get it right here. And I know. Hold on. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, I hate when this happens. What's going on? Oh, I've completely lost my bearings. I am. So, do you know what? I think I've lost. I'm so sorry, everyone. Can you just bear with me 1 second? If you're watching tomorrow, I'm sorry. I've lost my mind. Please, just remember where we are. Because the reason I'm so getting so annoyed is because I know he said something else and I need to get the wording right. Okay. Right. Okay. Sorry about that. Completely lost my bearings then. So, right. Okay, so you've got it in the comments. Sorry if you're watching tomorrow, I'm sorry. Right, okay. I'm back where I was. So, Mauricio's interviews. Okay, we had Kathy's first. Look at the sweat coming out. I'm starting to panic. I didn't know what had happened. Right. So we had Kathy's first interviews, second and third. Right. Then we have Mauricio's interviews. Right. He was being questioned by Detective Williams. Now, what he'd said originally, he'd said it was thank you, everyone. Thank you. He'd said originally, oh yeah, he'd had a bit of a bad stomach while we were camping. This whole camping story again. But he'd had diarrhea, so Kathy went out to get him some Pepto-Bismol. But I did notice it had been hard to wake him up. And then what he says is Kathy washed him when we got home. Now, do you remember what Kathy had said? Kathy had said he'd bathed himself, if you remember. That's what she'd said. This is what I needed to form a note. Now, the diamond-shaped bruise on the little fella's abdomen, on little Isaiah's abdomen, all he says, Mauricio, oh, he's clumsy. He's just clumsy. Same as Kathy in that sense. Oh, he walks into doors. Now, obviously, they were lying. We know they're lying because we know the autopsy. So after a break in the questioning, when he comes back in, Mauricio actually turned around and he's convinced that Kathy has cut a deal. Why would there be needing to be a deal cut, Mauricio? But he says, but don't ask me to betray my wife. That's what he says. When he's shown a picture of Isaiah's injuries, he looks at it and he goes, it does look like neglect, but it's not child abuse, because child abuse would be deliberate. Already getting this set up. I think this is very clever. Now, at that same time, the sisters, Isaiah's twin, and his younger sister, DHS, had come in obviously remove them from the home anyway, and they wanted to ask them a few questions. Obviously, they get someone in that can word things nicely with them. And basically, originally, both sisters were like, yeah, Isaiah had a bad belly and Mummy gave him some medicine. Daddy had to carry him into the house. Now remember, Kathy and Mauricio had both claimed that Isaiah had been able to walk into that house. Kathy had said that he'd managed to bath himself once he got into the house. Mauricio had questioned that in a way, because he'd said no, it was Kathy that washed him. Well, the girls basically said, well, when Daddy carried him into the house and lay him on the bed, me and the sister and Mummy undressed him, but he was still sleeping. And then Daddy took him into the shower, but we seen that Daddy kept on having to hold Isaiah up because he was still asleep and he kept falling down. But the one thing the girl says that was questionable at the time, they were like, but he doesn't hit us. He doesn't hit us. He doesn't hurt us. And Mummy gave Isaiah some green tea. She made him some green tea. So just such a shame for these two little girls. You can tell they don't know what to say for the best. They also do an investigation of the actual house. They get a warrant for the house. And there's blood spatter all on the walls and the ceiling of the master bedroom and the bathroom. And there's actually blood on 2 15-pound, so a stone a piece, dumbbells that have also been left in the bathroom. There's blood on those as well. And when they're searching round the house, they happen to see that there's a steel poker, a fire poker that had fell over on the floor, and the handle was in a diamond shape. Do you remember I said the diamond shaped mark on little Isaiah's abdomen? So where did that come from then? Okay. So then we get to another interview with Mauricio. Okay. And this is, sorry, I'd mentioned earlier, this is Tuesday, April the 7th, 2015. This is when he decides to finally come clean of what actually happened on that camping trip. Okay. He says that Isaiah had done the criminal, awful, awful crime of having a piece of cake that hadn't belonged to him. He's 6 years old and he's had a little bit of cake, and because it was on his face, obviously they could see that he'd had some. And that sent Maurice into an actual frenzy. He was livid that this child had dare have a piece of cake. So he said he'd spanked him and made him do exercises. Now, the exercises were a regular occurrence of little Isaiah's punishments. The dumbbells, remember the dumbbells in the bathroom? He would have to walk around with those on his shoulders. On his shoulder. He's 6. So he was making him do exercises. Now I'm going to give you one more warning on this. Okay. He was making him do exercises, but he just didn't think that it was harsh enough. He didn't think these punishments were harsh enough for the crime, you know, of taking a bit of cake. He didn't think it was harsh enough. And he'd actually been whipping him with a stick. Okay. But he thought, do you know what? I'm not doing enough damage here. So with the stick, it was the stick that he inserted into little Isaiah's anus and rectum. Okay. And while the stick is impaled in this child, they were making him, sit in I don't know if you've ever done martial arts in any way, but there's an exercise that's called a horse riding stance. In karate, it's called sumo stance, and it's basically where your back is against a wall and you sit, but obviously there's no seat. And he was making little Isaiah do this exercise while impaled with a stick. Now, you might wonder, well, where the hell's the mother in this? Is this when she was going to get the medicine? Where is she? Oh, she's there. Oh, she was there. She was sat there while this was going on. And, yeah, Kathy, she wasn't impressed with what was going on, because they were then asking Isaiah to do squats. And he wasn't doing them. He wasn't doing them to the best of his ability. So Mum, Mother of the Year, walked over to little Isaiah and forced him down on the stick. And this was what perforated and tore the lining in his stomach. Oh, God. Oh, God. And while Mauricio was relaying this in his interview, because don't forget, he's telling the police officer this in the interview, he starts laughing. Mauricio does. And given the reaction of the police officers in the interrogation room, the hell are you laughing at? He's like, oh, it was just, he just looked so cute with the cake over his face while this was happening. This one nearly got me. I'm telling you. God. And with regards to the cuts that they'd seen on little Isaiah's head, Mauricio said, oh yeah, he'd shaved his own head. He'd done that to himself. He'd shaved his own head. So Mauricio was charged with capital murder, battery in first degree, and rape. And Kathy was charged with the same. Now, Kathy, well, what was going on is the state could go for the death penalty in this case. That's what they could go for. Now, Kathy, she pled guilty to her charges. Do you want me to tell you why? Because she believed, because she's religious, that suicide is wrong. So, if she pled not guilty and she was sentenced to death, that'd be the same as suicide, and it went against her convictions. So she pled guilty. She did. Now, Kathy was given life in prison with no parole. That's her. Okay. Now, we're not done. Just letting you know, we're not done yet. All right. Now, Mauricio, he didn't. He didn't plead guilty, this fella. So they have the first trial in 2016. All right. Now, the girls come forward at the trial, and basically they start come through with other things that used to get done to Isaiah. And it was said that he used to get hit a lot more than us, and he used to get in a lot more trouble than us. And Daddy used to make him sleep naked in a cage most of the time. And sometimes, if not in the cage, he'd have to sleep in the trash can. And he was made to do it naked so he couldn't rob and hide any food. And they basically said he was hit really, really often. He was hit a lot. The pathologist who came forward in the trial, the medical examiner, he basically said that Isaiah was chronically abused. His nose had been broken. He'd been bathed on more than one occasion in bleach. Although the girls had said that Mauricio had knocked Isaiah's teeth out, the medical examiner actually said no, they were ripped out. They were actually ripped out. Do you remember the cuts to his head? That classed as blunt force trauma. There's blunt force trauma to his trunk. In fact, there was 100+ injuries on this 6-year-old little boy. Now, this was his first trial, and like I say, in 2016, Mauricio was sentenced to death. He was found guilty and sentenced to death. All right. But in 2019, the Supreme Court overturned this sentence and basically said that sexual assault couldn't be a reason for the death penalty, because Mauricio would never have known that the assault would have led to Isaiah's death. So therefore, the death penalty was off the table. So in March 2020, trial number 2 begins. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit more of a history of Mauricio and Kathy. Because what you don't realise is Mauricio had 2 children of his own before he'd met Kathy. He'd been with a woman called Linda, and he'd had 2 children, called Erica and Torres. All right. Both of these children were raped by Maurice, but neither one of them knew about the other one until they'd grown up. Okay. That was those 2. Kathy had 4 of her own. Okay, she had 4 kids of her own. She had 3 boys and she had a little girl. The boys were made to interfere with each other in front of Maurice. The little girl was also raped by Maurice. Of course, they were all beaten black and blue. And eventually in 2004, all 6 children were removed from Kathy and Mauricio. Well, Mauricio never got to see his biological children again, the 2. They went and stayed with their mum, Linda, and they say they learnt love through their mum. That's how they learnt love. The other 4 who were also removed, a couple of them did get adopted out. 2 of the boys did. One of those boys was called Quentin Martin. Like I say, it's Maurice's stepson, Kathy's son. Now, you might be thinking, well, okay, these were all removed. These children were all removed in 2004. All removed. And while the investigations were going on, Maurice and Kathy were like, do you know what? We're out of here. And that's when they left and moved to that Bella Vista in Arkansas and just started again. Just destroyed 6 kids' lives. Those kids get a chance to hopefully live out of, not in fear anymore. And they just disappear and begin a new life and have 3 more children. The other kids didn't know where Maurice and Kathy had gone. They just knew they'd left. And they certainly didn't realise they'd gone on to have more children. So, of course, these, especially the boys, were heartbroken over this. Heartbroken. Because they're like, we went through all that. And they went on and now he's killed basically their half-brother. Okay. So one of the stepsons, his name is Quentin Martin, like I was saying. Now, he was in jail, Quentin was. Even though he'd gone on to be adopted once they'd been removed from Kathy and Mauricio, his mind was just never right again, and he became a really, really violent man. Quentin did. So at the time of Mauricio's second trial, he was in prison for a really violent offence. So he came into court to testify about what he'd gone through at the hands of this stepdad. And the defence, I don't know if it's the defence or the prosecution actually, but they only asked him one question, and it was, were you sexually abused by this man? And Quentin couldn't hold himself. He couldn't stop himself. And he jumped from the testimony box straight over and lunged at Mauricio. All hell's broke loose. All hell's broke loose. The police got involved. The wardens got involved. Everyone's got involved. And the defence straight away are like, mistrial. And the worst thing about it, it was right at the end. It was right at the end of the trial. And that one was a mistrial. Now, when I'd says I knew about this case, but it hadn't ended, I suppose. That was where I knew up to. Okay. And then I'd sort of come away and I didn't hear about it. And I came back to it. And trial number 3 was on Thursday, February 2nd, 2023. Okay. And although the death penalty had been taken off the table, Mauricio was given life in prison plus 20 years for battery. So basically, he'll never get out, the same as Kathy. But the audacity of this man straight away was like, well, I'm still going to appeal. he's still going to appeal this. The appeal hasn't gone through as of up to date. I haven't seen any appeal go through up to this year. So, you know, nothing as yet. Obviously, if there's an update to that, I'll let you know as soon as I know about that. But a very sad interview with the biological son and daughter of Maurice and Linda, who was Mauricio. I keep calling him Mauricio's ex-wife, which is Erica and Torres. And they said, oh, it was so upsetting to watch. They basically said not only had he been sexually abusing these two separately, so they didn't know about it happening to the other one, what he would get them to do was to fight each other. He'd lock them in a room and make them fight each other. And when she's talking, she's basically saying she remembers saying to her brother, just scream louder, because to make him stop. And she said she would just apologise to her brother. She just apologised to him. I'm so sorry for doing this to you, because they were made to fight. And by the sound of the conversation, I think she's older, she was getting the upper hand on her brother in these made fights, these fights that were made to have. And it's just absolutely heartbreaking if you ever see that interview. It's just, they just look devastated. They say they did learn to love and what love was from their mum, Linda, but no thanks to him. And they still look, all of them just look, this man just left such a bad cloud over them all. It's just heartbreaking to look at. And then the upset that he then went on to murder a half brother of those, or a step sibling. Well, no, it'd be a half brother of the stepkids as well, wouldn't it? So, awful case. Now, the Isaiah Torres Memorial Scholarship Fund, a lady by the name of Amy Gawley did that. And while it was, she'd heard of the case in the second trial, and she followed it, and she actually went to the third trial, and she just couldn't let Isaiah's name just disappear. So she set up that fund, and like I say, that scholarship, it's been set up so it's for kids who are studying to be frontline professionals that are dealing with child abuse cases. So that fund's been set up for those children in Arkansas, in Bella Vista. And yeah, that was, oh God, I really don't know how to end this one. I genuinely don't know how to end this one. That was the devastating Isaiah Torres story. Awful, wasn't it? Awful. Horrible. I'm hoping I got everything in. But yeah, horrible case. Horrible so-called parents. And it was Phil. Awful. Oh, thank you, Phil. Thank you. It's just so hard. Do you know, I always find I'm okay when I'm doing the story, but when I come to the end, I just feel like I need to say more, and I genuinely don't know what to say. I don't know what to say when I come to the end of these stories. They're just, thank you, Sharon. Thank you. Yeah, I just never know what to say at the end. It awful. I did tell you so this was a bad one. And like I say, I'd heard of this by the second trial, but I'd kind of lost track of it. And then when I realised the third trial had actually been and gone, I was like, oh, I'm going to do this one. But, and I've got to admit, I'd put it off for a few weeks. I had put it off for a while. Thank you, sis. Thank you. Yeah, it's just, oh, thanks, Warwick. Warwick, have you been really quiet tonight, or because I did notice earlier? Did I not say hello to you earlier? I'd already started the story, so I couldn't really stop. But I thought I'd said hello to you. I don't know if the peacock did, but I did. I think I did. Anyway, I thought I had. I knew I hadn't said. I hadn't spotted Phil, but I thought I'd spotted you. But have we all been okay? Have we all been playing nice in the comments? Have we all been playing nice? If you're watching tomorrow, here on a Tuesday and a Thursday, 8 p.m, he's in your studio. Ooh, okay, excellent. Is he helping you do it? As long as you're keeping him busy. It's no good. You're gonna have to kick him out if he's not helping you. What is it? Oh, I did. I thought I did, Warwick. I thought I'd said hello. Oh God, my legs are dead. What's it? Oh, I've got put off now. Yes. If you join me on a Tuesday and a Thursday, 8 p.m. for our lives. Tuesday is request night. Thursday is my choice. Any requests you can ask me in the live or join our Patreon at patreon.com/JessRose5472. He was very quiet tonight. I did think that. I did notice that. Why were you so quiet, Warwick? What's the matter with you? I'd have understood if you'd have been quiet the other night after what you'd said about the last week's. But why was you quiet tonight? What's the matter with you? Are you being all bashful? There? Is that what's going on? What's happening? I don't like to hear people are quiet. It makes me wonder what's wrong. But yeah, awful story. What have you been chatting about then? You're lovesick. Oh, okay. Well, what does that mean? You're lovesick? What does that mean? Where's the other part of the love sickness? Where has she gone? Is she not with you? Has she gone? She left you? Not left you. That sounded a bit odd, didn't it? I don't mean leave you. I mean, like, has she gone away? Or tell me why you lovesick. Who? I'm happy for you. Who are you happy for, Warwick? Is this a joke? Have I not followed it? Or are you just catching on that he's lovesick as well? Am I missing something? I've missed something, haven't I? Is it me being gullible again? Am I being gullible? Who is it, Warwick? Who's done it? Who's done it? Do you want me and the peacock to go and get them for you? We can do it. And Sharon. Oh, okay. Oh, Warwick. As long as no one's upsetting you, because me, the peacock, Kelly and Sharon will go and get them for you. And I'm sure when they're... Mind you, is Kelly here tonight? Have I seen Kelly? I've seen Natalie. I've seen Sharon. I did see Kelly, didn't I? Do you know, where's Hayley as well, Tiff? I haven't seen Hayley. I seen her pop in the other night, and then I didn't see her again. We've been missing a couple, haven't we? I do miss you when you aren't here. I do miss you when you aren't here to have a chat, especially at the end. So I don't get to join in. So I like to see what's going on at the end. But so she is. Yes, Kelly's here. Hayley had a rough day. Oh, tell her I'm thinking of her. I knew I'd seen Kelly. I knew I'd seen Kelly. If it makes you feel any better, look at my poorly arm. I keep giving you updates on my poorly elbow, don't I? That's what I tried to say hi at the end too. Oh, I know, Sharon. I lose track. I do lose track. I know I see people, and then if I don't see them towards the end, I'm like, have they gone? Are they not here? Did they leave me? Did I put them off during the live? Because I do feel bad when it's a bad one, but when it's a child, I do understand. It's hard. It's hard for people. You know, it is hard for people. There she is. How are we doing? There she is. How are we? Are you pretty much prepared for your daughter's wedding now? How's she? Is she nervous? Is she, or is she excited? Says Haley had to go to school. Oh no! Oh, you'll have to go to the school. You've got Courtney up tomorrow. You'll have to take her up to the school with Haley. I don't think they'll ever gonna hear him again. Just tell Haley to stand back with you and just let Courtney loose. I haven't seen Courtney here either. And PJ, done his story, never seen him again. It's just siblings for you, what was I going to say? So yes, has Warwick not come back? Is Warwick not responding to us? Is he just ignoring us now? I haven't seen another comment from him since he said I'm lovesick. Is he being all bashful? I feel like he's being all bashful about it. I'm saying bashful, but I don't think I actually know what bashful properly means. So I could be saying the wrong word. Is bashful being quite like, I don't know. YouTube just threatened you. What do you mean YouTube just threatened you? Why would YouTube? What, on my channel? On my channel. Look at that. I have not stopped. What did I tell you at the beginning of this story? Look at that. I'd put the spray on, and just from getting all hot and bothered during the story, it's just like, ugh, awful. If you are, yes, so what was I going to say, if you are watching tomorrow, we do have a live on a Tuesday, but I have got quite a few for the next few weeks. Oh, okay. For the next few weeks, but if you have got a request, you can join us in our lives. Join these great bunch. They're a fab bunch. I wonder if we all have given him stick about his love sickness. Well, he gives everyone else stick. I'm sure he can take it. I'm sure he can take a bit of stick. Maybe he genuinely just had to go, because he did say goodnight quite early on, well, quite near the end, didn't he? I don't think anyone's. No. Do you think I have? Because you're only writing it in the comments. I'm actually saying it. Maybe. I don't know. Warwick, are you out there? Are you out there? Do you remember that from Titanic? Is anybody there? Yes, we did. We've got, so I've got all my requests booked in. If you are watching and you're wondering, I don't think I did I? I didn't think I did. I don't think I did. I wonder what maybe asking was inappropriate. I don't know, but he did venture that info, didn't he? Oh, I wonder what's happened there. Maybe he genuinely had to go. Maybe he's eating maybe he had a Chinese again. Well, wait, don't tell us all to lighten up. Well, you can't just dip off. Well, you can't just dip off and then be like, got yous all. He's a bugger, isn't he? He really is. But are you going to share so was that so you don't have to share any details with us? Is that what it is? Are you not sharing any details with us? It's okay if you don't want to. Just so I'm not telling you, nosy bunch. That's fine. He's back. There he is. He's back. He's back with us. Telling us all to lighten up. But yeah, so it's nearly jingle time. It's jingle time. If you are just a rascal, that's exactly what you are. You are just a rascal. I've got to leave my hair alone. It's just getting greasy and greasy. If you are watching tomorrow, please you come and join us on the live, or join my Patreon. It's patreon.com/JessRose5472. Or if you really wouldn't mind, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Really appreciate. Look at that. Can you say that? Got me all stressed. Look how stressed you got me, Warwick. Thinking I'd offended you. Look, comment and subscribe, guys. Look, comment and subscribe, guys. I really appreciate it. Look at that. Got me flatting. Oh, I thought you were talking to me then. Do you know when I watch the live afterwards as well? You know when I do this because I can't see anything. Look, comment, subscribe, Phil. Look, comment, subscribe. I realise that when I'm coming up like this, I have my mouth open. So, you just peed in the sink. Lovely, lovely. It's better than the floor, Warwick. Better than the floor. When I'm looking at my comments, when I have to come close, 'cause I can't see them properly, even though I've got glasses on, blind as a bat, I have my mouth open. So I'm there like, that's what I've noticed. That's what I've noticed when I'm rewatching it back. I'm like, oh God, Gorm, Gorm. He's a classy soul, isn't he, Sharon? He really is. He really is. But like I say, it's better than the floor, I suppose. It's better than that. But yes, I hope you all have a fabulous weekend. Hope you're not too lovesick over the weekend, Warwick. And what I was going to say, I'm back on Tuesday with Phil's story. Thank you all so much for joining me again tonight. It's so appreciated. And yeah, I just hope you all have a fab weekend. Hopefully we can keep a bit of this fabulous weather. Yeah, say hi to Court for me. I hope you have a great weekend too. And I will as long as it wasn't to do with the dishes. As long as it wasn't to do with the dishes. Oh, do you mean weeing on the dishes? Oh God, it's all. do you know what? I shouldn't even comment on the comments I get, because then anyone watching tomorrow, they're like, what goes on in their comments? What is she talking about? But anyway, I will see you all. See you all next week. Look, comment, subscribe, guys. Look, comment, subscribe. Take care, everyone. Look, comment, subscribe. Look, comment.